right? Hello, 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 hello. I'm John Zidar, aka the Stock Wizard. We're watching On Top and Hot Live. We're going to be checking out hot penny stocks that you gave me to look at. I'm kind of split right now talking to you, and I've still got a couple puts on the market. Yeah, you have to have your options normally done at the bell. But with your big ETFs, the Russell, the Q, the SPY, you can trade those actually up to 415. And the market can do a lot of crazy things after it closes. So I've still got two of them out there, not too worried about them, but I'm eyeballing them. So I am happy to have you all here. I see we've got some new faces here today. I saw some names down at the bottom that I can't even pronounce. This one right there, I can't pronounce that. Lucky you, though. How about if I call you Ravi? Ravi, we are going to look at MVCO because somebody else wanted that. Kashera wanted that, and I do have the due diligence all set up for it. I've got due diligence set up here for about 4 or 5 stocks that you've all asked for. The people who normally give them to me, Belmore, Underdog, Lee, thank you, buddy. I appreciate variety. I really do. Mark, where you at, Mark? Belmore, where's Mark? All right, I see my options aren't doing a lot, but SPY's falling fast, so I'm watching the Russell. In the meantime, we'll bring this comment down. Did you hear, folks? We had big news come out just a couple hours ago. Trump signed an executive order to reschedule cannabis. Did you know? Probably not. Nothing happened except cannabis stocks kind of fell. I don't know why. When cannabis went legal in Canada, I think it was 2020 or 2021. I don't know, somewhere back there, 2019. I was so excited. I figured cannabis was going to go crazy when a whole country goes legal. Nothing happened that day. It was so bloody disappointing. So I hope that isn't the case this time. All right, I am all ready. I've got some of these stocks all taken care of, and we got a couple here. We got one there, VTGN. We may get to that if I get to moving, right? So let's get to moving. All right, first thing I got to do is get rid of that and bring you to where I'm going to be. That's not where I'm going to be. That's where I'm at. And there's our ticker. You're with me. Okay. Now, I was taking notes before when we were doing these, but I found that the notes were a lot more work than I thought they were. And, well, we really actually go over it anyway, so I'm not going to do the notes. The first stock we're going to take a look at actually came from John Rodriguez. I can't remember if this came from Twitter or from YouTube, but in either case, he asked me to take a look at RIOFF. Let's get that in over here. I moved it. All right, so what do I have up here about this company? This is a Canadian company. They deal with gold mine project in Chile. And it's the filings we're going to have to focus in on. Wow, look at that. Right there, best 50 OTCQX. That's a big deal. Out of all the stocks on the QX, this is in the top 50. I don't know how many are up there. A couple thousand, I'm sure. So RIOFF, Rio 2 Limited, finished today at $2 even, down just about 1%, falling just about 2 cents. As I said, she is on the OTC market, but she's on the absolute best tier, the top. She's on the QX, which is as close as you can get to the major exchange. You get all the same filings. You get the same sort of financials. They just aren't on the major exchange for whatever reason, whether it be because they haven't got a home office here in America, they're a foreign company, or maybe they choose to be down there. It's a heck of a lot cheaper to be on the OTC market. We have got a lot of validated information. All of these green ticks are validated information, which is good to see on any stock, but most places don't show you this information. The OTC markets does. We have a verified company profile and a verified transfer agent. These are the two I tell you to look for, even on the OTC ID, the bottom tier, the most riskiest tier, because that's the only validated information you get. We also have a independent directors listed here. When they list them here, it's telling us that they are serious about uplisting. they've said something in a filing, not just a news press. They've said something somewhere that matters, and you have to have independent directors to uplist. And obviously, the next place they could be going would be the NASDAQ. And they are certified because they are a Canadian company. They have extra rules that they have to meet. They've got that all taken care of. And the most important thing, not that, is this penny stock exempt. Most people are unaware of what this is. It is a very, very good thing. This tells us that a company's been in business for 3 to 5 years and had millions of dollars in assets or revenues, and they've kept up with their filings and financials all through that time. So they are not considered a penny stock anymore. Even if they're under $5, even if they're on the OTC, they are not legally considered a penny stock officially. Let's put it that way, because they've proven to us they're not risky. They're not a startup company, like a teenager acting like an adult. So we tell them, you're an adult now. So everything looks real good here. So what have we got? Rio2 is a mining company with a focus on development of mining operations with a team that has proven technical skills. They are taking their Phoenix Gold project in Chile to production. So let's dive on over to the news. We've got a few pieces of news here, and we're only going to look at current information, folks. There's a lot of news with some of these companies. There's no need for us to go months back. We want to know why the stock's running right now, and we only got so much time, right? So we got 3 pieces of news here. This one, I want to share a paragraph with you. Rio2 provides Phoenix Gold Mine Q3 2025 construction update. This is kind of like research and development with a biotech. They are in exploration stage. They're not actually doing anything yet to make money. They're looking for how to get that money. Today, the company provides an update on progress made at the Rio2's 100% owned Phoenix Gold project, currently under construction in the Atacama region in Chile. At the end of Q3 2025, construction was 63% complete and remains on track and on budget for first gold production in January 2026, just around the corner. That's big news. And let's see, back to the news. The company received $50 million investment from Wheaton Precious Metals. That's a big investment there. And then the last piece of news, something highlighted here, and must be at the bottom. Where is it? I'm looking. Hold on here. Oh, was this another 14 million? They had another investment here. They don't get into a lot of details without you diving into this. So they got another investment here. They bought 44 million shares. I'm trying to find a number here. They bought them at 18 cents a piece. What? Holy cow, look. The price is $2 and they're buying them at 18 cents a piece. Who's getting ripped off here? Bloody hell. So that's all the news over there. Let's jump on over here to disclosures. It seems to me it was the disclosures we wanted to look at. Right. Okay. This one came out today. Other material. Let's see what we've got here. Oh my God. This just came out. I did not see this one. I have no idea what this is. Share purchase agreement. I think this has to do with the news we were just reading. Vendor owns 508 million shares. This just came out. I have not had time to dive into that one. Material change report. This came out yesterday. My goodness. 80 million in cash. Under the terms of the agreement, Rio2 will acquire all the issued and outstanding shares of the subsidiaries of Southern Peaks, including Anima Management Corporation, for $80 million cash. So it looks like the company just acquired another company. Wow, I did not even see that before. This is what I was actually looking at, were these news releases, because if you come over here, let's see. See, this is all November. All of this news is November. There is no catalyst news here. That was just catch-up news. But over here, this news press came out yesterday, but it's not in the news. So they tell us here the company plans to use these net proceeds from a $14 million investment for corporate purposes. That's all they're doing there. We had another piece of news here, though. I thought I had something more important, although we did just see the merger. This is another investment. Wow, another one for 86 million shares. These were sold at a decent price, $2.22 a piece. So we've got a lot of investors coming in right now. We don't have time to go through all of this, but I mean, we just read 3 or 4 investments, not counting the one we just read in November for $50 million. And they say they're ready to get gold in January. Now, I don't know what gold's worth right now, $3,000, $4,000. Good time to be getting that gold. So what's the relative volume for the company? Oh, well, remember, folks, we're on the OTC. I'm going to refresh this, see how many shares we did today on the entire OTC market. Right here, we did 4.1 billion shares today. Sounds like a lot of shares, but remember, we got 12,000 companies that had to divide those up. Before COVID, we were doing 60 billion to 70 billion shares a day. Today, we didn't even hit 5 billion, which is about as high as we ever get anymore. Been a long time since we've been over it. So we have done about 568,000 shares, just a little over 500,000. Looking at our outstanding share count, we got about 500 million, a little less. It's like 427 million. I have no clue what the insider zone, so I don't know what the float is. It could be way up there at 400 million, or it could be a lot less, considering how many shares the insiders might own. Looking at the market cap, we're just shy of $1 billion. We're at 864 million. Is this company making money? No, because they're exploration. So you got nothing yearly, nothing quarterly, but you do have money. Adding 3 zeros to any of the numbers on any of these charts. Here we got $32 million, which I like to call the bank cash and cash equivalents. Total assets, 269 million. Total liabilities, 148 million. Total stockholder equity, what we get, 120 million. So we're not holding a bag with this company. It's not going to be worth a lot with that many shares. It actually would be worth about $1. Roughly $1, the way I'm figuring it on assets. But you start pulling that gold out of the ground, it's going to be an entirely different story. So I do believe that covers everything for RIOFF, except the chart. So let's go take a look at that. My option, where's it at? Nah, I don't need to worry about my option. It's gone. 2 of them. They're dead. All right, charts. All right, we've got RIOFF. Let's open this up to a yearly chart so we can get our flow and our 52-week high and low. Look at that, folks. Jiminy, an entire year of climbing. I don't remember the last stock I seen do that. That's amazing. So a year ago, we were at 40 cents. It has been slow and steady. She has been floating on that 50-day MA. She gets above it, taps, gets above it, taps. This is gorgeous. Now she's actually getting some momentum. She's actually getting higher than she's ever been away from that 50, hitting a high here of $2.15 a year later. Volume steadily increasing as the price is increasing. You see that? All of our oscillators are pushing up right now, just a little bit of cooling off. Taking a look at our 6-month, 4-hour view, looks just as good as our yearly view. Everything is looking pretty much the same on that. How about our 1-hour view? I mean, I know it's climbing. So 20 days ago, we were at about $1.50. We hit a high of $2.15. We've come back down and we're sitting on that 200 haul. Now, once you got over the 200 haul, that's purple and blue. I know most of you don't have that on your charts. It is just as strong as the 200 MA, has just as much authority as the 200 MA. But it's friendly because it takes into consideration the price of the stock. So you normally see it a lot closer to the price. And when it turns up, normally the price rises as well. Well, we've got a rising 200 haul. Actually, we've got virtually a rise in everything. My concern here is that the 20 is rolled and it's right at that point of rolling over. Well, think of the 20 as basically the steering wheel. Where the 20 goes, the price will go. And normally the price will start to move just as the 20 starting to show a roll. See here, she's starting to roll, but here she's actually rolling. So you will actually see the price start to come down when your 20 looks like it's about to roll. That is a very vulnerable point right there. So now we're coming down. Is she going to bounce? Well, let's see what our oscillators say. Everything is falling. Everything is getting weak. We got red volume in the picture. Now, she is bouncing off of the 50, so she's coming down to it. That's what we're going to watch for. 5-day, 5-minute. We got a low 5 days ago of $1.82, reached at 215, went sideways for an entire day, came underneath the 200 with a cup, looked like a handle, but didn't break. Nope. And we do have a rising 200, so I would have expected that. I would have probably entered in here and been real pissed when she fell. She has come down underneath everything. Doesn't make sense. Our 200 now is rolling over. Our 200 MA. The 200 haul is going flat and our price is on the 200. Now, what we would hope to see here is that the price get on top of the 200 haul. That will give it some strength to get on top of our 50. If it can get on the 50, you're now in a 200 squeeze. Now you're ready to push towards that 200 MA. Once the price is on the 50 MA and the 200 haul turns up, look for the price to go to and through the 200. Once it breaks through the 200, take your gains. In 8 out of 10 cases, the stock will stop climbing and come back down to the 200 or the next MA underneath it, then bounce. And if there's volume, it'll continue on. Then you get back in and you take a second gain. So RIOFF, the chart has been running for a year. They're about ready to take gold out of the ground January, which is just a couple of weeks away from now. The chart has taken a dip, which gives us a buying opportunity. Worth considering, folks. I'm liking it. I don't normally like mining companies, but when they start to make money, that's when things get interesting. But this chart is delish. All right, I'm going to fly right on into the next ticker, folks, so we don't waste any time here. We're going to take a look now at Velmore's. Velmore likes to look at the warrants. Now, to look at the warrants, you need to look at the company because the warrant runs based on the catalyst for the company. Now, what's a warrant, you say? Well, let me tell you what a warrant is. A warrant is a coupon. More to the point, it's a promissory note. It allows you to buy a share of the company stock at a guaranteed set low price that will never change sometime in the future, normally 3 to 5 years. Now, you can trade warrants like stock, get in, get out, take your gains. No big deal. No one's going to say anything to you. Or you can hang on to them and cash them in on the back end like Warren Buffett does. He makes billions, maybe billions of dollars off of warrants. So the stock may be $1 now. When it hits $1.25, they say you're allowed to buy a share of this stock for $1.50. You go, that's no deal. It's $1.25. Who wants a share for $1.50? But you got 3 to 5 years. 3 years from now, it may be $30, and you can buy a share for $1.50. How many warrants you got? That's a lot of money you're cashing in on. So we're going to look at the warrant for the company. The warrants are normally penny stocks, and they normally run faster and harder than the stock if the stock is hot. The problem with warrants is they don't have liquidity. You don't get a steady flow of volume coming and going unless the stock is hot. And when they are running hot, you have to pay very close attention to the ask and the bid. They will normally be very far apart. And when the price takes a big jump, the bid and the ask won't close up. And you'll go to sell in a hurry, seeing 500% gains because the price just jumped. Boom, you sell it and you didn't make a penny. It comes back exactly what you paid for it because the ask and the bid didn't close up yet. So you got to be real careful there. So we are looking at Beneficient. Beneficient. What do we got about this? Beneficient Alternative Investments. Yeah, this was an interesting company trying to do due diligence on. So I'm going to take this over to the warrant. Normally a warrant just has a W at the end of the ticker. Sometimes it could have 2 W's if there's only 3 letters in the ticker. Sometimes there can be a forward slash with a WS. If you're looking for warrants on a scanner, easiest way to do it is there is a date next to every single warrant. There's no dates next to stocks. The date is when the warrant expires. And you want to make sure you're getting into warrants that aren't going to expire in a month or 2. Those could be a problem. You also want to watch out for getting into warrants for stocks that had stock splits. The stock split affects the warrants. Bad, real bad. I got into SMX. SMX was running like a mother, right? Way up there, over $120. So I got into the warrants. I didn't know they had like 4 or 5 reverse stock splits. The warrants are like crap. So I'm stuck. I can't even sell them. I'm holding them now. So you got to be cautious with warrants. Do your homework. But when you see volume come in, Always a good time to play a warrant, regardless of the other stuff. If volume comes in and it starts moving, get in there, folks, because it can move fast and hard. So this is BENFW, Beneficient. Beneficient is a company that, how do I explain this? They have a platform, like a trading platform, for companies to sell alternative assets, whatever the heck that is. They can bring their assets over to these platforms and liquidate them and get cash for them. Sounds like eBay to me. If you want more information, you're going to have to do some due diligence because it's a little complicated, but that's about as simple as I can make it. Taking a look at the news, because it does matter. It may be a warrant, but the warrant runs when the stock is hot, not for any other reason. All right, we did have a reverse stock split here. Egads. We just had this a week ago. How big was it? It was a 1-and-8 reverse stock split. And that was on the 15th they did it. So it was 3 days ago. So we've probably got a low float now. Now, what I was looking for here is to see if they did this to get the price up over $1. Because did you notice the price? Well, let's go back. There's the price of the stock. So they probably did a reverse stock split, 8, probably to get the price back up over $1. And it is successful. You know, now they're up over $5.13. They rose 15% today. The warrant went up 15% as well. Now, as I said, warrants run when the stock is hot. 15% isn't hot. It's nice to see it jump just as much, and it's super cheap. Down here at a penny 0.3. Now, think about this, folks. Buying on 001, buying on a penny is the best absolute buy you're ever going to get because it only has to move 1 digit to make 100% gains. 1 to 2 is 100% gains. If you wait to 2, you've got to go to 4, and you only get half as many shares buying at 2 because it's twice as expensive as 1, right? So you get twice as many shares for half the price buying at 1, and it doubles in value on the next digit. Whew. I love my 01s. So let's see what we have here. We don't need to check the volume for the stock, but we can check the volume for the warrant. Now, warrants don't get millions of shares usually. You'll get tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands. And if you see hundreds of thousands of warrants moving, folks, that's a hot warrant. That's bloody hot. This one, we had 167,000 shares move today. She got her 15%. Let's see here. Just so we have a quick idea, the financials for this company. I don't know. Is that royalties? Is it a digital product? Because they're not paying anything for it. It's coming up. It went from $30,000. Don't forget those 3 zeros to $365,000 to $750,000. So it is growing. They get money quarterly. Yeah, they're getting about $200,000 every quarter, and I have no idea what for. In the bank, they got about $5 million. Total assets are $316 million. Yikes. Total liabilities is up there at $448 million. So we're holding a lot of deficit in this of $222 million. Yikes. Disclosures, anything to consider? We do have an 8K that came out yesterday. 8Ks and material changes. Just poke your head into these, folks. You need to know if something's going on. Up here, we'll give you at least a heads up if it's something you want to get any deeper into. Change the chairman of the board. Let's see what we got on the next one. This was a week ago. This is probably the reverse stock split. Yeah, that's the reverse stock split. Seen that one coming. So that basically covers everything for the company. And ticker BENFW. Now, did we see any, did we see any catalysts over here? You got a new chairman of the board. We had a stock split. So the only thing you could say would be that the company had a low float now. Yeah, outstanding share counts. Not that that matters to us. Warrants do have a set number, but nobody cares about it. Nobody goes out counting them. It's difficult to see how many it is. It honestly is, but it really doesn't matter. And the float on the stock doesn't matter with the warrants either. This is just information to have in the back of your head. So now they got a low float. It was something like 100 and something million before the reverse stock split. So let's go take a look at the company and the warrant, see what's going on here. Thought I forgot you. All righty, let me bring this over here. We got two screens. I will bring this one over here as well, and we'll make this one the warrant. All right, let's see here. Let's look at our yearly charts. That's a 2-year chart, my bad. And we'll make this a yearly chart. So on our warrant, wow, look at that, folks. We had a low here of 0006, and like 2 days later, she went up to 3.7 cents. Oh my God, I can't even figure that out. Let me see. 10 would be 1,000, 10,000, 30,000. Wow, I think that's 50,000% gains, folks. Oh my God. $100 bill down here would have made you $50,000 up there. Whoa. Now maybe it's 40,000. I don't know, but it's a huge freaking run. She came back down to our 200, and that's where she's been. We do get some nice bounces out of this. Here we're going from roughly where we're at right now up to 2.6 cents. So you're looking at 2,000% run right there. Yeah, bad boy. That's what I'm talking about. Now let's take a look. Wow, look at all the lines. Obviously, I've been playing this one. Let me get rid of those. So there's the stock itself. The stock has broke out over the 200. Once it got down close, it broke out the way it was supposed to. Once it broke out, it came down and bounced on the 200 like we expect it to. She took off. She's running strong with some big bounces, getting bigger and bigger. Now, this one didn't do as big as this one. We have a flat 200, and she's bouncing. Oscillators are looking good. Our PPO is rising. Our MACD is over the line. Everything looks pretty decent on the stock. Now let's come on down to a shorter time frame on this warrant. Let's take a look at an hour. So she was riding on top of that 200 haul. She is getting set up in a 200 squeeze. Now I'm going to tell you, folks, charting on warrants is not the same as charting on stocks because the warrant is not paying attention to her own chart. She's paying attention to the stock's chart. That's what she's running on. Now, when the chart on the stock isn't running, then you can come back and work here. But normally the warrant isn't moving. Warrant doesn't normally move unless its mother or father goes somewhere. Then the child goes with it. Outside of that, the kid is just sitting there. So normally I don't really read the charts on warrants. I read the charts on the stock to the parent company. So right now, if that matters, she is rising. She's got a 20 coming up over top of all the strong MAs, 200 Hall, 200 MA, and the 50. God, folks, that would be a banger of a golden cross. So I would expect a push just on that. But it's a warrant, so I don't know what to think. So we're going to watch BENF. BENF gets heat. She starts climbing. Come over here, folks. Make it a general rule of yours. When you see a major exchange stock running, go check and see if they got a warrant. I think at least 60, 70% of them do, and they're going to be cheap, and they're probably going to be running too. Just remember, when you go to sell, check the ask and the bid. Normally, they are spread out really far until liquidity comes in, and then they start to close up. And then when they're real close, that's when you've got action going on. There you go, Velmore, BENFW. Let me run home for a little bit. I need a drink. I need a puff. See what you guys are doing over here. El Coco. Brother, I'm so glad to see you around. I found El Coco, or I should say he found me over at YouTube. I invited him over to Penny Boys. He came to Penny Boys. Now he's over here. That's what I like to see. Not because you're following me, but because I'm giving information constantly. And if you're a new trader, I drop a lot of information that you can put to use, I'm sure. First time. Boom. That's what I'm talking about. Getting me feet wet. Mark, you made it, my friend. Thank you. We were calling your name out. You'll see it in the rerun. Okay. You all seem fine and dandy over here. So I'm going to go back to what it is I'm doing, not forgetting to hit my buttons, of course. And let's see what we've got now. Our next stock comes to us from Underdog. He wants to look at CGTL. Now, this was real easy to do due diligence on because there's no current news. There's no current filings. I couldn't find a Twitter account. I did a Google search. Where's the news? I don't know. But a week ago, this bloody thing was running. running strong. Now she's cooled off. So GTL is Creative Global Technology. Let's get her in. Dun, 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 dun. CTGL, Citrine Global, finished today a little over 18 cents, falling just about 12%. That was about 2.5 cents. This is a penny stock on the OTC on the middle tier. She's on the QB. The OTC ID is your ghetto. Very dangerous. You got to be careful down there. They're not all scam artists down there, but many of them are. OTC QB is the middle tier. This is where you have to start giving us audited financials. You don't have to do that on the pinks, on the bottom tier. You start giving us other filings. You have to be at least a penny. Go underneath a penny on the QB. They'll throw you down to the OTC ID. Darn sure will. So this is when you start getting a little bit of respect on the venture market. We've got those two green ticks I'm telling you to always look for: company verified profile and a transfer agent verified. So let's go see what this company is about. Skytech Orient Global Core, formerly Citrine Global, all right, so they've changed their name, is a U.S.-based company with operations in the U.S. and Israel, operating through majority-owned subsidiaries. The flagship tech replicator air plug-and-fly modular FPP drone and mission kit. Is this right? I don't remember doing this, folks. Hold on. I need to check. All right. CGTL. See? I see it. I see it. CGTL. But I'll tell you what, I'm glad I found that, because I was looking for that drone company. Yesterday, somebody was saying they wanted to invest into defense. And I said, well, you might as well get into defense contractors with drones, because everybody's using drones, and they don't buy one or two. They buy tens of thousands of them. And that was the drone company that I was looking for, the one that just built a manufacturer over in Israel. It's 3D printing, so they can actually put their manufacturer anywhere they need. Anyways, we are going to go look at CGTL, which is the one I was supposed to be looking at in the first place. Boo! Creative Global Technologies Holdings Limited is engaged in business of sourcing pre-owned consumer electronics. I remember that. What they do is they get electronics from the US and Japan, our old phones, our old computers, our old tablets, and they sell them over in Southeast Asia. I thought it was going to be Nigeria. So that's the company. They are based out of China. This is a Chinese company. What was the relative volume around this company today? Whoa. So the stock finished at $1.14, dropping 8% today on the NASDAQ. She was doing 2.5 million shares as an average every day. Today, she dropped down to 265,000. You're talking like 1/10 of her normal volume. What happened? Taking a look at the share structure. Well, we got a low float. Not that I know what it is. Outstanding share count's like 21 million. Since I don't know what the insiders own, I don't know what the float is, but I know it's not more than that. And that's not very much. So I'm real happy with that. And when you consider what the insiders might own, could be a lot less. Market cap for the company, we're at about 26 million. Financials. Is this company making money? Yeah, they are. It was growing nice and then took a dip, except the profits went up. We went from 12 million 4 years ago to 27 million to 50 million, and then dropped back to 35. But look at our profit: 3, 4.5, 5, 6.3. We're down 15 million on revenue, but we're up like 1.3 million in profit. Profit margins got big. I like that. Taking a look at our quarterlies. They have quarterlies. They're just not showing up here. Balance sheet. We got about $500,000 in the bank, 16 million in assets. Thank goodness, only 2.8 million in liabilities. So we are holding stockholder equity here of 13.4 million. We're not holding a bag. Now let's see what's going on with the company. We've got nothing here since September. Creative Global Technology talks about their fiscal year first half financial. Also at this time, they got a letter from the NASDAQ claiming that they were under $1 and had to fix that. Well, it looks like they've taken care of that problem. Now you got to be over $1 for 10 consecutive days, and you have to close over $1. Now, you can go under $1 during those 10 days, but at the end of the day, you got to be over $1. I don't know how many days they've been over $1 since they got that letter from the NASDAQ. And then our disclosures, as I said, there's really nothing here. We got a 6K. What is this for? They got a new auditor. Woo! I don't think that's going to be a catalyst. And then we've got back over a month ago in November. So we have no news. We have no filings. We have no catalyst. Nothing to even say why it would be running, why it would run. So let's go take a look now at ticker CGTL. I'm glad I got the right ticker finally. Yeah, you're with me. All right, back to one chart. Been all over this bad boy, ain't I? Yes, I have. Take this back to a full year. Yeah, let's get rid of that line. That's a little outdated. And, oh no, I didn't mean to take them all. That's okay, I'll work with it. All right, CGTL on the yearly chart 1 year ago. Now, I want to check something here, folks. All right, I thought that might have been when she came on because it looked like it was the very first bar. All right, so a year ago, we had a 52-week high of $9.31, and we hit a 52-week low of 41 cents just at the end of October. Now, as you can see, she's been in a downtrend for a long time, but right here, we had ourselves a soft double bottom, a W for winner. Normally at the top of the W, you would get yourself a run, and we did. She got up to 636 after being down here at $3. So you had over 100% run to this point, and then she just crumbled. She fell from $6.30 all the way down to 69 cents, and I don't know why. This happened on April 28th, if you want to look that up. So she came down. Our 50-day MA got close, which was the strongest MA on the board at that time. She jumped at it, which we like to see. That shows eagerness. You expect a breakout when it gets really close. Here it is, really close. We didn't get our breakout. She just kept dribbling downhill, poking her head up every now and then just to see what's going on. Came down to that 52-week low, and off of that low, she has now started to bounce, and it's an immediate bounce. Now, what I like about immediate bounces off of low bubbles, especially 52-week low bubbles, there are shoppers out there looking for them. And when they find a low bubble, they'll go to the fundamentals of that company and see if there's value. If there's value, they'll get into it. Not just them, but a whole bunch of them. And you'll see the stock not just bounce, but climb. So these are nice to see. This went from 41 cents up to, it went up about 50%, 63 cents. And then she hung out there and she's just been trying to climb slowly, riding this 20-day MA. Now we've got ourselves a brilliant 200 squeeze here, but we don't have a catalyst. Is it going to work? That's the nice thing about a 200 squeeze. It doesn't need a catalyst per se. It is the catalyst. Technicals are a catalyst, my friends. That's how I look for hot stocks. I find the catalyst on a chart first, then I match it up to hot news. That's the best chance of finding a hot penny stock. So we got a rising 200 haul, a falling 200 MA, price above the 50, already climbing to the 200. I'm expecting it to go through the 200. And as slow as she's climbing, not in a big hurry, I wouldn't think she'd come back to tap the 200. I think she'd keep going. And our 200 is just now starting to level off. Our oscillators are showing heat. There's a little coolness here in our RSI, but the rest of them starting to climb. Take a look at our 6-month, 4-hour view. All right, I'm going to use that big drop there for my supports and resistances. I'm grabbing my Fibonacci. Fibonacci are magic numbers, and we use them for our supports and resistances. I'm going to poke the top and then the bottom of this run. You can do the same thing with a climb, but always poke the top and the bottom because it puts the extra lines up at the top. If you do it from bottom to top, it throws these extra lines down at the bottom. You don't want them down there. So now this is going to be my supports and resistances that I can trade this stock on. It's not attached to any historical price points, but they're valid because they're magical numbers that the science supports. I can't explain the science. No one can. It's a mystery, but we know it works. It's like magnets. It just draws things in. Now, we've got a few more supports and resistances here. I'm drawing one at the top of that big run right here. Let's see. We probably got one over here somewhere, right on top of there. Probably somewhere in there. So these are going to be where I get in and out. I'm going to get in over top of one of these supports, and I will get out underneath one of the resistances. There is strength on the top, and there is weakness underneath. So that's why I use these. As you can see, she is now starting to push up off of that bottom one, but she's got a long ways to go. Not a lot of heat in our oscillators here. Let's come on down to our, let's just go down to our 10, 30 minute. 10 days ago, we were at 45 cents. Wow. 4 days later, we're at $1.50. That's like 300% gain. She came down. She's bounced off of this support here. She's come back up to everything. She's on top of all of her MAs right here, looking like she could go either way. There's not really anything here to show which way she's going to go. Everything is flat, going sideways. She's worth the watch. But again, the only catalyst I see right now is the technicals, is the chart. I don't see anything. You didn't see anything either over there. No news, no filings. But if you're holding it, you may be in for a surprise. That's it for CGLT. What else we got? I'm just going to flow, folks. No, that's not what I meant to do. Next one we're going to look at CGTL. That was right. UGrow from Dino Trades. This is Urban Grow. This is a company that deals with indoor growing equipment and engineering. What they do is they help companies to grow inside vertically. You know, instead of just on the floor and up, you might have like bunk beds on the floor, one in the middle, and then one real high. And you grow on all these multiple levels. And they got all sorts of equipment that sets this stuff up. And again, I need to check out the filings from the NASDAQ. That seems to be where the real information is at. So let's go check out UGrow. Urban Grow. She is in the cannabis sector because a lot of cannabis companies used her. It's making the most out of the room you have, literally. So UGrow finished today at 35 cents, up about 18.5%, jumping about 5.5 cents. This is a hot penny stock on the major exchange coming with benefits, right? You get to trade these pre-market, aftermarket. Can't do that with OTC. You got a lot of money, a lot of volume on the major exchange, a lot of extra rules for the companies, keeping them honest, which keeps our investment safe, and they're free to trade. There's no transaction fees on most brokers with your major exchange stocks. So I've told you what Urban Grow does. First thing I notice over here is this prohibited service provider. Anything in red over here is bad. You need to find out why it's there. Well, I know why this is here. They still got BF burgers. For God's sake. This CPA got busted about a year ago for doing bad work. I might even call it fraud. And they had something like 300 companies that they were doing work for, and about half of those were on the public exchange. They're still using them. I'm surprised they're even on the market, having them this long and not having them replaced. All right, let's take a look first at the relative volume for UGrow. Now, that's what I'm talking about. Look at this. We jumped from 3.5 million shares a day as an average over the last 30 days to 187 million. Round this up to 4 into that would be like 40 times. Wow, that is huge, folks. Taking a look at the share structure. We got a low float? We do. Oh, I'm liking this. Outstanding share count, 16.2 million. Insiders don't own a whole bunch. They got about 3/4 million. So we get the rest. We get about 15.5 million, which is okay. Now, a low float is literally 10 million and less. But as far as I'm concerned, anything under 100 million is okay. Anything under 25 million is a low float. So this is looking really good. Market cap, not that great. We're about 5 million. Is this company making money? Uh-oh. They probably are. Let me see here. Not there. Boom, 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 boom. Right there. All right. Let me get up UGrow here. We are over here at Yahoo Finance. They'll give me financial information, even if the OTC market won't. So looking over the last, whoa. We're missing a year here, kind of. This goes back to 2020 and up to 2023. Where's 2024? Yeah, that's UGrow. Well, we've got the last trailing 12 months. That's what TTM stands for, which would be the end of this year. We're missing 2024, but we got 2025. So we've gone from 25 million, wow, to 62, 66, 69 million. And right now we're riding at about 60 million. So we're a little low than what we're normally doing, but we're right there about what she's normally doing. Jumping on back here, let's take a look at our news now. See what we've got for a catalyst. This came out at the end of November. Company receives notification from the NASDAQ. This is going to be because of that price, right? They're under $1. Can't be under $1 for too long. Speaking of under $1, when we were looking at CGTL, how long has she been over $1? I'm looking right now. I know you can't see me. 1, 2, nope. Nope. Sorry, folks. CGTL, just so you know, she too has that notification from the NASDAQ, and we saw her price was over $1. Have to be over $1 for 10 consecutive days. She had 2 days under her belt. She's back under again. She closed under $1. So she's got to still get 10 more days. And I don't know when the end of that is. Speaking of the end, when is the end for them? Oh, right. I need to go over to the financials for this one because I did all my, not the financials, the filings. I did all my homework here for you. As you can see right there, they are late on a filing. NT10Q, that says not filing our quarterly report. That gives them 5 days extra. If they don't get it, they're late. That was on the 24th, so they're late. This 8K came out on the same day. I did have a whole bunch highlighted here. I remember what I had highlighted. They are out of compliance on a lot of bases with the NASDAQ. First one here, they've been under $1 for the past 30 days. They have not filed their annual yearly report for December 31st, 2024. That's why we didn't have a financial for 2024. They haven't filed it. It's a year late. They also haven't filed their quarterly reports for March of this year and for June of this year. So there's 2 quarterly reports that they're behind. I also seen, let me see here. They've got another one here, equity requirement. So they have a lot of different things they have to fix, and they've got different time limits to get these things fixed. With the timely filings and the equity, they have to fix this before December 1st, 2025. So they've got themselves 2 weeks to fix this. If they don't fix the equity in the company, what we're always looking at, are we holding deficit or equity? If they don't give us some equity, they're in trouble. If they don't get that price up, they're in trouble. What do I mean? They're going down to the OTC. If they don't file those annual reports and those quarterly reports, they're going down to the OTC. Now, they've got till January 28th of next year to get those reports in. But what we're looking at is in the next 6 weeks, they have to get everything fixed, or this company's going down to the OTC. And when it goes down to the OTC, I assure you, the price will fall. The best thing I can say is when the price falls, you'll probably get yourself a dead cat bounce at the bottom, and that will be it. Let's see what else we got here. We got nothing else to consider here. So let us go take a look at the chart for UGRO. What time is it? 4:48. Am I moving along fast enough? Uh-oh. We got a double top right there, folks. You see that big letter M? The top and the top right there. That's what they call the letter M, a double top, which is a bearish pattern. Normally at the bottom of the completed M, you normally see a big drop. It'll normally be the size of the M. It'll go down just that much. This one is starting to bounce up. That's a little curious. Let's go back a year. Let's see what's going on here. Catch our flow and our 52-week high and low. So we've been in a downtrend the entire year. 52-week high was at $1.19. 52-week low is at 21 cents, and we hit that mid-November. Now, as the 200 was falling, once she got up on top of the 200 haul and the 50, she started pushing against that 200. You can see we've got some nice, I'm going to get rid of these lines so you can see that. You've got some nice pushes. Let's see, that's going from 40 cents to 80 cents. That's 100%. That's 100%. This little one here goes from 23. That's 130%. So she gets some big rips through the 200, but then she comes right back down the way she's supposed to, because that's a falling 200. You do not get breakouts on falling 200s. It's really, really rare, but you get push throughs that come back down. Now we've hit this low bubble of 21 cents, no fast bounce, right? She just started going sideways, so we don't see any hidden value here. And now she's starting to climb. And where is our 200 haul? Right there. So we are not in a 200 squeeze here. We've got our 9-day pushing across to 20, approaching to 50. These are golden crosses when a little MA crosses a bigger MA. It's giving strength to the price. She is climbing. Our oscillators are also climbing. Everything is looking good here, and we've got lots of volume coming in. The yearly chart doesn't look all that bad, actually. 4-hour chart. 6 months ago, we hit 83 cents, and she was all over the place, wasn't she? As you can see, when she gets over top of the 200, she does get active, very active. And even when she's under it, we're getting some nice, huge spikes. Now, right now, she is breaking out. We had a 200 squeeze right here, 200 rising, 200 falling, price on top of the 50, bars get chunky, 2 and through the 200. Back down for a tap, and then boing, we're off and running. So she is doing what we expected her to do, and she is running. All of our MAs are climbing. The 200 is moving very, very slowly, but it is just now gotten flat. It was falling, and right now it's flat with all of our MAs crossing it, all golden crosses. We've got a doji here, big wick at the top, big wick to the bottom, indecisiveness. We're not sure what's going on with this. Everything is kind of going sideways. So we're watching this one as well. Looking at our 20-day 1-hour view, kind of looks like our 4-hour chart. Definitely got a rising 200 MA now. There's that double top. We start to see it pushing down. Oscillators pushing down. Volume all red coming down. 5-day, 5-minute. So we had a low of 22 cents a week ago, 50 cents pre-market today. That's over 100% run. Came down at the bell. She actually took a rip at the bell, but see, she was falling. When the bell came on, it jumped. If the stock is running, if it had come on here, I guarantee you it would have fallen. When a stock is rising pre-market, it normally falls at the bell because people take profit. It just makes sense. So we've got our double top there. She's come underneath the 200. She fell. Now she's coming back up, testing a flat 200. We have a 20-day MA, which is just now starting to curl up. Steering wheel says she's trying to go that direction right now. So things look good for a recovery. We can't guarantee anything, but all of our oscillators are doing the same thing. They're all cupping up right now. So Ugrow looks like she's ready to do something. But again, we don't have any catalysts. We have a lot of hot water. She's laid on a lot of filings. She hasn't got enough equity for us. She's under $1. She's in trouble, folks. So before you go throwing any money into this, wait till she cleans up her act, right? Wait until February. See what happens in February. If she still is on the NASDAQ February, whew, we missed all the trouble. All right. I'm done with Ugrow. What are you guys doing over here? Yeah. Hit that like button, folks. I don't have a tip jar anymore. They took that away from me. What's this? We'll see if we can throw the chart in. Charts are a lot faster to do than going through all the DD. I could probably go through 40 charts in 2 hours. DTREF, yeah, that's the colossal gold mine over there at the Mojave. Is it Mojave? It's that preserve we have in California, the one that Trump said we're going to go in there and get our critical minerals. Even though it's a gold mine, there's lots of critical minerals in there. I got it right. We're good, right? I did get it. Okay. What time is she? 5:54. Let me get a little. No nicotine. That's just flavor. That's all that is flavor. Okay. Jumping back into the game. I like the game. So what are we looking at now? We're looking at fun. Lee brought me fun. Lee has been very methodical. He's been bringing me the same ticker for a long time. SKYX, or is it another Y? I can't remember. But today he's brought us Fun. Fun's an interesting stock. Funware works for mobile platforms for companies. Now, it's interesting because these are mobile apps like you and I would use, but these are for companies for their businesses. Say a hotel. A hotel might have map so that you can find everything in the hotel. Some of these hotels are pretty bloody big, right? So you get those maps on your phone that show you the blue dots so you know exactly where to go. As we're going to read in the news, they now have a AI concierge. They are finding ways to make more money from hotel guests after they check in. Once they check in, they're not done. There's lots of things the hotel can make money on. And the AI concierge helps them, leads them to spend that money with the hotel. And they make these apps for a lot of companies. They make them for their products. They make them for maps. They make them to manage data. Whatever the companies need, Fun makes the apps for them. So we got two pieces of news here. Funware unveils new white paper demonstrating $2 million annual revenue opportunity for hospitality leaders. That's what I was saying. This is just for the hotels. It's the first AI concierge that they are going to work with, and they are turning the hotels on to this new AI. And once this proves to work here, they're going to start using it in other places as well. Another piece of news came out, the financials. Now, I had that highlighted. Why did I have that highlighted? Right. I did not want to go through the money. I wanted to get some information because there's not a whole lot of information about what they've been doing here recently. And that's what I'm most interested in. Third quarter of 2025 was underscored by progress toward the launch of our new AI concierge product and steady revenue as we continue to advance our investment in AI. Earlier this year, we announced our new AI concierge product feature and guest services agent product with features to help hotels unlock additional revenue by utilizing AI in their hospitality applications. Looking ahead, we are highly focused on adding more AI-related features and functionalities within our current product offerings, and we are working with other customers to launch pilot testing programs for our AI concierge. So that's really all we've got going on over here news-wise. We've got 8K that came out today. Ooh, I didn't see this. This is a shareholders meeting that's already been completed. Let's see what they voted on. Board members, ratification of their accountant, and compensation. So we don't have any mergers. We don't have any acquisitions. We don't have any reverse stock splits. We don't have any of that stuff going on here. Another 8K on the 5th of this month. Something to do with directors, officers, stuff like that. Stuff we're really not that interested in. It's important information, but not for our purposes. And a Form 4, just out of curiosity, Form 4s are filed whenever the insiders acquire or dispose of the company's stock. Now, they can do that in a lot of different ways. We're interested when they buy them or sell them. Those could be indicators, things you want to pay attention to. They will move before the news or the filings come out. So if you see a big buy or a big sell, could be a signal. So right here in the center, you will see a code. Right there, you're going to look for a P for purchase, S for sale. Any other letter is something else, and I really don't care what it is, but you can teach yourself by reading what these letters mean right there. So we got nothing going on here. And let's see. Let's take a look at our relative volume for Fun. It's not doing much, is it? I mean, we're on the major exchange where you should be doing millions of shares. We're not even doing 500,000. We barely got over 250,000 shares today. But look at last month. Her average was 161,000 shares. I guess companies aren't interested in apps right now. Share structure for Fun? Well, that's pretty decent, right? We got about 20 million. Again, not knowing what the insiders own. I don't know what the float is, but whatever it is, it's not bad. 20 million isn't bad, so it could be even better. Market cap for 35 million. Financials. That's why we invest in companies to share in the profits. Uh-oh. 4 years ago, we were at 10 million, dropped to 6 million, dropped to 5 million, dropped to 3 million. Doesn't look like companies like apps. And their profit has been dropping right along with them. All we can say right now is that they are still in the black on their revenues, but operating expenses are pretty deep. Not as deep as they used to be. They were a lot more expensive years before, but they are spending a lot of money. Quarterly, we're doing from 4.5 to 6.5, 450,000 to 650,000 every quarter. Their profits are bouncing all over the place, but it's regular. It's coming in all the time, and it's all black. Lots of money in the bank. We got about 103 million in the bank, 105 million in total assets. So if you got 103 million in cash, that means you only got 2 million in assets for the company, right? Total liabilities, 7.3 million, which gives us a lot of stockholder equity in this company, $98 million. Definitely not a bag. So I do believe I covered everything here. Yeah, I did. So let's go take a look now at the ticker, PHUN. All right, that is the 5-minute chart. Swinging back to the yearly chart. Again, we got a downtrend, naturally. Year ago, we were at roughly $6.29 when we had a lot of big green bars, a lot of activity, pushing through that 200, trying to hang on. Looks like she was actually trying to work on a breakout here. Things are starting to cusp up a little bit, but then she lost it, completely lost it, stayed up there too long, fell from 562. She jumped from 350 to 629, landed here at 550, and then started to fall. Her first big drop took her right back down to where she was at the 350, and then she fell further down here to 224, which is where she's been going sideways for a long time with a little movement, but she isn't getting far. She got here on top of her 50 with a falling 200. Everything looks like it should have had at least an opportunity to push through. Where's our push throughs? We don't have any, none. We're not even getting a push through. I don't like that. When I see a chart has no push throughs to 200, it's not showing any incentive, no desire to climb. And now we just hit a low bubble of $1.77, followed by a red bar. Our PPO, percentage price oscillator, is falling. That's a lot like your MACD. Our MACD is also falling. The MACD uses the full price. Your percentage price oscillator uses a portion of the price, a percentage. And our RSI, that's bouncing off the floor. She was down here at 30, and right now we're at 38. I don't like to see it any less than 55. So things are not looking too bright right now for this company. Looking at our 1 hour chart. 1 hour, no, I want to look at my 4 hour. Wow. So we had a nice roll here. She started to climb. We had a rising 200 and then a sudden fall here. This 200 was still rising, but our other MAs were starting to roll over, and she came down hard, and she's been rolling downhill. She has these big rolls, but they're all downhill. And off of that low, she is bouncing right now, but we have a falling 200, falling 50, 200 hauls falling, and our steering wheel is falling. The only thing that's going decent is our price is getting on top of the 9, and that's it. You can't climb until you're on the 9, but that doesn't mean it's going to climb. Everything else is on her head like a waterfall pushing down. Lots of volume today. It's been a while since we've had some strong volume. And our short-term oscillators, they're starting to come up right now. I don't have a lot of hope. I don't like all these MAs over her head. But our technicals say she's fighting. So that's a good sign. Looking at our 20-day 1 hour view, rolled up to that flat 200 here, right? She's rolling down. Right here, she is totally flat. She broke out, bounced, took off. She should have kept going. Why did she come back down? I don't know. This is a perfect setup, and she keeps getting this 200 on her back, pushing her back down. And now we're back here pushing. She's over everything on top of the 9 and every other MA. The 200 haul is still falling, which has a lot to do with the price. The price likes to follow the 200 haul because it's its friend. It relates to it. But everything else is pushing up. All of our oscillators are dead even. So we're in a indecisive place here. She's going sideways with a lot of push up here, but a lot of push down here. So I'm not quite sure where this is going to go. The revenues are falling. The chart's been falling. The chart is still falling, and we don't have any catalysts. Probably not the stock you should be focused in on. Just my 2 cents worth. Take a break. Take a break. Yeah, hit that like button. Deja vu. All right, looks like you guys don't need me. So I'm going to go back to my stuff over here. I got another one here. Yes, we got a couple people that want to look at MVCO. Kashira brought this to me. This is Metavesco. This is a holdings company. They've got something very interesting going on right now with what they call OTC Fi ecosystem. Let's see if we can talk about that for a bit here. Now, this is a little difficult to explain because there's a lot of information. You're going to have to do your own due diligence. But I remember when they started talking about this, saying this is for all the OTC companies. This isn't just for us. Black Clouds Inc. announced a strategic partnership agreement with Metavesco Inc. to accelerate token development, Web3 community growth. Now, that was a ways back. We're not going to get into that development of those tokens. Metavesco's quarterly net income soars to 1.78 million on crypto gains. So whatever they're doing with crypto, they were taking gains when crypto went up. On the 24th of November, the company unveils their transformational OTC Fi access platform. Now, I'm going to have a hard time explaining this because there is so much freaking information here. This is something that, excuse me, OTC companies can opt into. And what it's basically doing is connecting the companies to the investors in a way they've never been connected before, so that we get information like we've never gotten before, so that we can stay in touch with our investments. As I said, there's a lot of information here, and I really don't have time to go through it all. So you're going to want to go through that. The other piece of news that deals with this as well came out right here. Now, what they say here is they're going to leapfrog a step. They were going to do something else. Now they've changed their plans. Metavesco, a diversified holdings company, I don't know what else they own, and a developer of the OTC Fi ecosystem, today announced it will move directly into building the fully licensed on-chain prediction market version of OTC Fi Pulse, bypassing the previously planned sweepstake-style beta phase. The strategic shift is reinforced by the rapidly growing mainstream acceptance of prediction markets. Folks, prediction markets I've only heard about them here in the last month, I think, and they seem to be a very, very, very big deal. Now, it is just what it sounds like, predicting. Way back, I was telling you, the whole point to AI isn't just to do work for us. They want to use AI to predict what we're going to do, predict what things are going to happen. Companies want to know where we're going to be when we want something so that they can get our money. Predictive markets are going to be freaking huge, folks. So they say here this week, Kalshi announced a $1 billion financing round at an estimated $11 billion valuation for a company going on the market, signaling powerful institutional validation for this category. Now, I always worry about people jumping onto the bandwagon. When the metaverse got hot, it seemed everybody was getting into the metaverse. Where are they all now? When AI came out, everybody getting into AI. And I'm thinking, isn't AI real expensive? How do these little itty bitty companies afford to get AI? So I wonder if a lot of these companies just don't throw that out there. So you got to be cautious about that sort of thing. Now, they got a video here. A new Pulse preview video is available here. So if you want information, instead of reading all this stuff and trying to figure it out, maybe their video just make it easier. Anything else I wanted to share with you over here? Authorized share reduction. Wow, look at that. 7.5 billion shares. They're just going to cut off the authorized shares. Now, authorized shares have nothing to do with our stockholder value, those are the bank. And that's half of what they have. They have about 15 billion shares authorized. Now, they can use these shares to put on the market, make money, give us lots of dilution, or they could use them as cash to bring on executives, give them a big bonus if they sign on, a big bonus if they hit mile markers. Also, they could use them as cash to make an acquisition, buy a company, just give a whole bunch of shares away. Well, they've still got 7.5 billion, so I don't think they've cut their feet off anywhere. They're okay. Now, that's not going to do anything about our outstanding share count. It's still going to be at 4 billion shares. Freaking too high, folks. MVCO is a penny stock down here at, actually a sub penny stock at 0013. She dropped 5% today. She's on the riskiest tier, the OTCID, which used to be called the pinks. You get very little validated information down here, which is why they're risky. You don't know what you're getting into. When you read the news, that is not concrete information. And I guarantee you, they wrote that so that you would read it a certain way, but they couldn't be held liable if you read it the wrong way. So be very cautious when you're reading news with these OTCIDs. And of course, we've got our 2 green ticks there, which we're always looking for. Did we go through the volume yet? No, we have not gone through the volume, and it's a drop. Big drop. Wow. Wow. On the OTCID, she's been doing about 41 million shares a day as an average over the last month. But today, she only did 6.5 million. Now, remember, she's super duper cheap. So you get a lot of shares for a little money. So don't let that number make it sound like she's doing really, really good. Taking a look at the share structure, we just looked at that. That was pretty bloody huge. And did we look at our disclosures? Well, look at this. We do have some filings over here. This is way back in July. And authorized share reduction, that's the 7.5 billion coming off. And there's their most recent quarterly report. Everything looks good here. Now, there's not going to be a lot of information in this, folks. It's not audited. A CPA did not look at this. The numbers you're being given have not been audited. These are just numbers tallied up by the management, and they just give them to you. Now, for the most part, I'm sure you can trust this, but you can get information about who's invested in this company, how many shares they own, stuff like that. That does cover everything for Mevco. Let's go see what Mevco looks like on the chart. Mevco. Oh my God. Mevco. No, there's no E. No E. Mevco. All righty. Let's go back a year. As I said, we want to see the flow and the high and low. That's ugly. All right, let me squeeze this up so I can try to get in on that. Whoa. All right, so there is our yearly chart, basically. We've got a 52-week low of 0005 that hit in October of this year, believe it or not. Wow. And we have a 52-week high of 0017, which we hit about a week ago. That is a 300% run from bubble to bubble. Right now, she is sitting on this. Where did that come from? I've got a Fibonacci here that I have no idea where it came from. Okay, so is this my yearly, or that's a yearly chart right there? Okay, I didn't see it before. So yearly, we do have a higher 52-week high here. Over a year, about a year ago, we were at 5.3 cents and came down to 0005. And now we're working our way back up. Wow, what a huge drop. Now, I'm thinking that these supports and resistances off of this drop are just going to be way too much. Too big. Just they're too far spread. The stock is not going to move. So honestly, I really don't think this one is going to be of use for me. So I'm just going to get rid of that. That's not going to help me at bloody all. Let's come on down to our 4-hour, 6-month. Jeez, can't see that either. Let me try to squeeze it up right here. All right, 6-month, 4-hour, basically. Back it up a little bit. Wow, look at that 200. That 200 coming straight out of the sky like a meteor. Boom. And then you got a 92-degree angle there. What is that? Unbelievable. Once the 200 got close, she jumped, showing her initiative the way we'd like to see it. She's floating on that 200 haul, went right across the 200 MA, came down, bounced off of the 200 MA, which is now flat, and it is trying to rise ever so slowly over the year. And the price is hanging on to that 200. Even underneath, it's hanging on like a monkey. It's not going anywhere. It's magnetized to it. Then we got over it here with a nice jump going from 0009 up to 0013. So you're looking at about 50% run right there. Back down to our 200. Lots of bounces on that 200 right there. A whole bunch. Boom, 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 boom. Then she took off. Now we're bouncing off of our 20. I'm liking all these wicks piercing the 20, but the solid bars are staying over the 20. That tells me she really isn't interested in falling. She wants to climb. All of our other MAs are climbing. Our 200 is now climbing. Oscillators, well, they're a little warm. Everything is just now starting to come up, but there's not a lot of heat there. We don't have a lot of volume in the picture. Can't even see the volume today. Take a look at our 20-day 1-hour view. So she is slowly climbing, rolling uphill. Our MAs are over our head. We got a strong 200 haul and a 50 over top of us. We are sitting on top of our 9 above the 20. But these two added up, 200 plus 50, that's 250. Here we got 20 and a 9. That's a 29. I think the 250 has more strength, so I get the feeling this is going to push down. Probably, maybe bounce on the 200. Bounce, not break through it, bounce, and start to come up. Oscillators are showing weakness, not a lot, but they're not showing any bloody strength, that's for sure. Take a look at our 5-day, 5-minute. All right, 5 days ago, we got that high of 0017. She fell to a low here of 0011. Remember that buy price, 001. All she has to do is go to 002, which is that much of a move on the chart, folks. And you just made 100% gains. Just like that, from 001 to 002. Boom. Off of that, she has started to push up, and she got up here to 0013, has just been going sideways. She did bang her head on the 200 3 times here, back down to the 50. And what do we got, folks? What do you see right there? A 200 squeeze. Beautiful. Perfect setup. We got a 200 MA right there, which is falling, but more flat than falling. Definitely a rising 200. We just had a peg leg touch it, come back up. We're on the 50. This thing looks ready to run to me. To and through the 200. I'd be watching this one, folks. Absolutely. We've got no volume. That's the ticket. Volume comes into this the way she's set up. Even without a catalyst, she could definitely run. Now, I don't know. I wouldn't call cutting the authorized shares a catalyst. That's a big deal, but I wouldn't call it a catalyst. I'm taking a quick glance over here because I can't remember everything we read. So it is that OTCI. Now, the thing with me is I'm wondering how many companies are going to opt in. Are they going to want to do that, right? That's the whole thing here. If nobody opts in, then it's not going to be worthy of anything. And is there anything else you can do with it? Uh-oh, I just lost you. This is scary. Hopefully you come back. So on our 5-minute chart, I'm liking this setup. She is perfect once the volume comes in. Outside of that, I don't see a whole lot on the chart to get excited about. I'm trying to connect with you right now. Yes, okay. Whew. I hate not seeing what you see. All right. I do believe that covers everything I had. Yes, those are all the stocks I had. It is 519. Let me come back to you guys. You had a couple stocks you wanted me to look at over here. VTGN was one of them, right? Bump. VSME. Lee, you already had one. You want another one. VSME was a good one, though. I did see that chart today. VMLK. VTGN. Yes, we are going to get Aniru. I don't know how to say your name, buddy. We are going to take a look at VTGN. VTGN. Now, of course, I don't have anything done on this yet, so we'll just go through how I normally do my due diligence since it's smooth. VTGN. Vistagen Therapeutics finished today at 74 cents, down 14%. This is a penny stock on the major exchange, coming with all those benefits we talked about. This company is based in the U.S., out of California. What do? Vistagen is a clinical stage biopharmaceutical company dedicated to developing and commercializing innovative products for patients with diseases and disorders involving the central nervous system. Anything else there we can grab up? No. Ooh, God. Holy cow. No, we're not going through all that. So we'll start over here with the relative volume. Whoa, something's going on. We've been doing less than 1 million shares a day over the last month, 822,000. Today, we broke 10 million shares. Whoa. Share structure for VTGN. It isn't bad. We got 40 million outstanding, not knowing what the insiders own. I don't know what the float is. So it could be a lot less than 40 million, or it could be 40 million. Not a bad float. Market cap, 34 million. Financials. Oh, now I'm going to bet this is probably a research and development company. Let me see if I can get rid of some of these windows here. I need to get back to my, yeah, right there. See if we can get some financials here. I bet it all comes up zeros, so we'll see. It's slow. You can't blame me for that. Vistagen Therapeutics financials. Oh, something happened here. All right. What the heck? So this goes all the way back to 2022. And look at that. That's a huge number compared to all these other numbers. That looks to be, it is huge. It's 1.1 million. Don't look at those. There's a decimal in there. But then they dropped from 1.1 million to minus a quarter million. Then jumped up in 2024 to a full million. Then dropped to a half a million. And now they're up to 3/4 million. These people are all over the place with their revenues. Taking a look at the catalyst. What do we got going on here? All right, let's see. Whoa. Just let me scan this for a minute here. Vistagen completes Palisade 3 Phase 3 Public Speaking Challenge. Palisade Phase 3. That's something we're going to have to take a look at right here. Phase 3 trials are the final trial. You get through this with flying colors, you've got yourself a product that's going to make you money. Then you just got to get yourself a PDUFA date, which is a license fee you pay to the FDA. It's just more money for them. And that gives you the right to start selling your product. Oh, no. Vistagen announces top-line results. Now, don't let top-line make it sound like good. Top-line is just what they mean as final results. It's not good. Top-line could be bad, could be good. From Palisades 3, Phase 3 Public Speaking Challenge study of fezidinol for acute treatment of social anxiety disorder. Read that sentence right there. Study did not demonstrate statistically significant improvement on primary endpoint of reduction in anxiety as measured by SUD scores compared to the placebo. Favorable safety and tolerable data were consistent. So you didn't die from it. It didn't give you chronic diarrhea. That's good. Company's cash preservation measures expected to provide runaway till 2027. So they've got enough money to do what they're doing till 2027. So they shouldn't have to put any more shares on the market. Now, I don't know if this is the end of the trial. They have these updates through these trials. I don't know if this is the end, but at this point in time, it's not good. They did not meet. They are not doing better. So we're not happy with that. Was there anything else here we needed? They got a new chief officer. They have a report for findings of their PH80's brain and automatic effects in women with menopausal hot flashes. That could be hot. The drug could be popular. And then they got their quarterly financial results here if you want to get into all of that. So, looks like bad news. So, when I look at the charts, I'm expecting it not to be looking too good. Looking at our filings, we've got a Form 4 here that just came out a little over a week ago. It's a V. That's not a P. That's not an S. I think that's for options. Let's see. Yep, right there. 25% of stock options vested on June 23rd, 2026. I don't know if they're calls. I think they're calls. You would hope they'd be calls, wouldn't you? If you buy options on your own company, they better be freaking calls. We got an 8K here at the beginning of the month, talking about directors, officers, and compensation. I'm not going to jump into that. So I don't see anything else going on here except the bad news. I was looking for something good. I don't see anything good. So let's go take a look at ticker VTGN. Oh, there you go. You want to guess why it fell? We know why it fell. Phase 3. Now, I'm hoping this isn't the end of the phase 3 trial. I would think it would have fallen a lot further, although that's pretty damn far. Wow. Because phase 3 trials take up to phase 3, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. You've just spent millions of dollars, and it probably took you 5 years, 6, 8 years to get to that point. And when it fails, all gone, all wasted. Bummer. So let's kick this back a year. So she hasn't been doing really anything for about 6 months. She was just hanging around here in the center, going from about, let's call it $2 to $3.50. That's nice. That's where she's been rolling around for about 6 months. Then she broke out over the 200. Now, she could have pushed through anytime she wanted here. Never did. Now, it's just about flat, going level right now. She takes that opportunity. I love it. She breaks out because she moves so easy through it. There was no volatility. She didn't even come down and bounce on it a second time. She got close, but she's really bouncing on the 20. And she is riding that 20 up. When she bounces, she comes down to the dynamic duo, the 200 haul and the 50. Add those together, 250. That's a solid board. That's like a plank and a 2x4 nailed together. That's solid. Came down and hit that plank and bounced off of that. And she's bouncing off of that over and over until the bad news came out, and she fell from $4.30 roughly down to 75 cents. Wow. Hard hit. All the oscillators have gone to the floor, as you would expect. 4 hours are going to look a whole lot better. She was looking good until things went south. Looking at our 1 hour, it's just no difference here, right, folks? So if we zoom in on our 1 hour chart, you can see she's going sideways. Now, when you have a stock fall this fast, this hard, chances are she's not going to go anywhere because she has to wait for a rung to climb up the ladder. She can't fly. She's not a bird. She's more like a monkey or a kangaroo. So she couldn't do anything until all of these MAs start coming down. Well, here's our 9-day MA, but she made no move to get on top of it. Here's our 20, made no move to get on top of it. That's 2 that she's refused to get on top of, the light ones, the easy ones. This tells me she is in bad shape right now. Now we've got our dynamic duo coming down. She should push towards that, but we see a history of no push, no breaking through. So I'm thinking this was bad. So bad that this is going to be down here for quite a while. If you got stuck with this, I'm really sorry to hear that, because I don't think she's going to come back for a while. We need a catalyst, and I don't know what this company's got going. All right. God, I don't want to finish off on that one. That's bad note. That's horrible. Yikes. We are looking for hot stocks. We are. We want to share stocks that are running. We don't want to share stocks with everybody that are falling. We just waste everybody's time. Now, I'm not stepping on your toes. I'm just saying the name of the show is On Top and Hot. So we're looking for stocks ready to break out, stocks that have hot news, stocks involved in mergers, stocks uplisting. This is what we want. Nobody can make money on falling stocks unless you're shorting, and that one doesn't look like it's going any further. Looks like it hit the floor. We had another one here. No, we're not going to do VSME, Lee. Quit asking. But I think we can do DTREF. All right, we will do DTREF. What time is it? 5:30. I do want to take a look and see if DTREF has had any new news. We will go to the chart, but if there's something going on, I would like to know. Now, the one thing I can tell you that I think still stands is that DTREF is a foreign company. She's out of Australia, and they are charging an extra $50 to buy this stock. And when you sell it, they charge you an extra $50. 50 freaking dollars to buy a stock that costs 13 cents. It really irks me. I've already done it once. I bought in and I got in at like 3 cents and I sold at 11 cents. And I paid my 50. So I lost $100 on that deal, but I still made like 150, 180. But I still think you got to pay that 50. I don't know why. I can't tell you. DTREF is currently at 13.19 cents. Fell today about 9%. Arrgh! Got all these green ticks over here. It's the best you can hope for. Penny stock exempt, right? Been in business for 3 to 5 years. Have had millions of dollars in assets or revenues during that time, and they've kept up with their financials. Now, this company hasn't been doing jack diddly, as far as I can tell, for years. They couldn't do anything with the mine for 10 years, since 1996, 20 years. Couldn't do anything with it because it was in a preserve, and you can't mine in a preserve. So they haven't been doing anything. Now they're doing something, but they just aren't doing it fast enough. See if there's any extra news we need here. 12:15, we do have news 3 days ago. Dateline delivers further high-grade intercepts from North Pipe at Coliseum. Okay, this is a gold mine. They do know there's gold in it. It was mined for quite a few years by other gold companies. It only got sold off because in the late 90s, mid-90s, gold was going for so bloody cheap, it wasn't worth mining it. So the company sold it. And this company bought it up, and they've just been holding it for all these years. But now gold is worth something, so they're making money on that gold. But their mine is 6 miles away from the #1 critical minerals mine in America. So they figured there must be critical minerals in there. There is, and that's what they're doing. They're exploring, looking for these pockets of different types of minerals. So you're going to get information here that I can't explain to you. I don't understand all this stuff. If you do, great for you. But that's the whole point. We are still in exploration. Now, to me, they should be pulling out gold. And maybe they are pulling out gold. I haven't been looking at this stock here recently, the Standard Drilling Intercepts. So they found gold. They've got gold. Are they pulling gold out, though? This is what I don't know. I haven't dove into this deep enough, and we really haven't got time to do it right now. Anything on disclosures we need to be concerned with? I mean, it's on the QB, the OTC. No, just their financials. So let's go take a look at that chart. DTREF. So critical minerals is supposed to be hot, right? We need them for all of our electronics. We need them for all sorts of things right now. And most of ours come from China, and China ain't giving us most of what we used to get. We're getting more now than we used to get, but we're not getting everything. We're getting some from other places in the world as well. We are also trying to get it off of the bottom of the ocean. There are these nodules, these eggs that are all over the bottom of the ocean. I don't know if they came out of volcanoes on the ocean and just fell down there, but they are loaded with critical minerals. Well, we have a couple companies, TMC, OMEX. These are companies that work on the ocean. One works with shipwrecks. They try to find treasures. Others does scientific studies. They have robots that can go down into the water and gather these things up. And now with AI and all the technology we have, we don't even need tethers. They can go deep, deep, deep with no men in these submarines, and they can get those nodules. So we are looking at a 1 hour chart. Let's take this back to a yearly chart. So a year ago, we were at 005, and there was a nice steady growth incline here. She got all the way up to 46 cents in October of this year. 005 to 46 cents. That is 86 times, 86,000% gains. I think that's right. Yeah, that's a half a penny down there, and that's 46 cents. So you got to double that to 92. Whew, my God. Then she's come back down. We don't have a 200-day MA on the board. Our 50-day MA is the largest one. Coming down, she's broke everything. She's come down under everything, and she is still falling right now on our yearly chart. Our oscillators, oh, this looks bad. This is my ADX. The ADX has 3 lines in it. A red line, which tells you downtrend. Green line tells you uptrend. And your yellow line, which tells you the strength of one of those trends. Whichever trend is at the top of the board from 0% to 100%, that's as far as it goes. It does not move. Whatever line is at the top has all the power. This is a downtrend, way up at the top. Our uptrend is way down at the bottom. No strength at all. And this yellow line is telling us whichever trend is dominant, how much strength it has. This hasn't got a lot of strength, but it's growing. The strength is coming in, and this is dominant for sure. So we've got a downtrend coming. That's what my ADX tells me. Take a look at our 4-hour, 6-month. Looks the same. All of our MAs are over top of our head, scraping underneath that 9-day MA. She is falling fast, folks. Let's take a look now at our 1-hour. Look at that 200. Now right here, look at this. She was falling very steep here when the stock was going sideways. Now she's going sideways darn near while the price is falling hard. A little weird to me. She has come off of that low and she's going sideways. We're still underneath every single MA. All of our oscillators are weak. Couple of them there are trying to flatten out right now with the price, but I don't see any hope in the picture at this moment. 5-day, 5-minute. She is in a downtrend. She's going sideways after each fall. She just takes another dip, and it looks like those dips are coming first thing in the morning. Boom, dribble, dribble. Boom, boom, boom. First thing in the morning, she likes to drop. Now, we are setting up for a 200 squeeze, right? Falling 200 there, rising 200 there. Not rising, it's still falling. And our price is on a 50 right there. So there is a possibility here, but it's a weak one, folks. These bars are so tiny. There's just no strength here. Now, we had a little bit of volume, and I do mean a little bit. There's not a lot coming into this right now, but things are actually getting stronger. You got to start from somewhere. We're pretty bloody weak right now, but we are starting to get stronger. We are in a 200 squeeze, but this is on our 5-minute chart. So this is probably going to change at the bell. Now, I don't think, let me go back just one bit here. All right, you see that green bar there? That's pre-market aftermarket. We can't trade pre-market aftermarket. Those are brokers. Those are market makers. Those are people in the broker section trading these stocks pre-market aftermarket. So we can't do anything during pre-market aftermarket. We have to wait to the bell. And I'm expecting this thing to do something with this 200 squeeze, but she likes to fall first thing in the morning. This looks like it should jump first thing in the morning. So if this falls first thing, our 200 squeeze is gone. Don't even think about it. So DTREF right now is not looking too promising, but then all the critical mineral companies aren't looking too great right now. Nothing is climbing. Things are dribbling downhill. This month, lots of small caps have been falling after what? 2, 3, 4 months of small caps climbing like crazy. They're all coming down right now. But in case you didn't know it, tomorrow is triple witching. Triple witching. Let me get you something here so that you can learn, folks. Today was very, very volatile because of triple witching, but tomorrow is triple witching. This is a day when options and bonds and everything have to be closed out. Triple witching. And tomorrow is the day. So we're expecting some serious volatility. Now? Yes, right there. It's triple witching day right now, as it's the third Friday of December. meaning major derivatives like stock options, index futures, and index options are all expiring, leading to increased trading volume and potential volatility, especially around the close. Though long-term investors usually see little impact from the short-term noise. So we're going to be seeing a lot of movement tomorrow, folks. People have to move these trades. I don't know which way they're moving them. Today, things were falling. There was a lot of sideways activity, ranging, just going sideways, ranging. And then when it decided what direction it was going to go, boom, 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 it just kept falling. And we've had a lot of fall on the big markets. Yesterday, all the little markets were pretty good. There was a lot of green, but the big markets, Microsoft, Oracle, NVIDIA, they were all red. So the big markets were falling. And when the big markets fall, they have a tendency to pull everything else down. Even though everything else doesn't need to fall, it's being pulled down. When the waters rise or fall, all the ships, big and little, rise and fall with them. So just so you know, watch tomorrow, folks. There could be a lot of volatility for all of us. That could be good, that could be bad, depending on how you play. That's it, folks. We are at 5:40 and my voice is just now wearing out. By the way, I got good news to share with you. I don't have a lot of people to share good news with. I just paid off my guaranteed student loan. Can you believe it? Finally out from under it. I'm kidding. I still owe $6,000 on that thing. That is not a joke. All right, folks. I appreciate your time. Thank you for being here. I'm going to be here next Thursday, unless next Thursday is Christmas. When does Christmas fall here? Let's see. I'm looking at. All right. I haven't got a calendar up right now. I am here every Thursday, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right at the bell. And I am going to be talking about stocks you bring me all the time. How many did we get done today? Did we get more than 5 or 6? It's all I seem to get in like 2 hours. Whew. All right, folks, have yourself a good evening. Enjoy yourself. Thank you very much. I'll catch you on the rerun. And remember, I'm over there at Penny Boys every single day trading with the public for free. You can join me, folks. There's a link in all my videos. Down at the bottom, there's a link. Come in. Just look, if you don't have a Discord account, don't worry about it. Just give them an email. Choose a username, choose a password. You've got an account just that fast. And they'll send you right to us. You don't have to go looking around. Find my name, Stock Wizards, Momentum page. Come in there. There's a bunch of us, lots of us in there looking for stocks that are moving right now. Everybody's sharing charts, sharing information. We're getting in and getting out quick, taking gains. I had 5 wins today. Woohoo! We had lots of fun today. All right, folks, I'm out of here. I will talk to you later. You still here? You're supposed to be gone. Get.